Welcome back to another episode of Stuck in the Middle Podcast. This is the Couch Talk here on SitM Podcast. Yo, I'm your host, Sir Charles, aka Capo. I'm joined by a good guest of mine, but before we get into that, make sure you visit www.sitmpodcast.com to shop exclusive merch. Make sure you get it. You know what I'm saying? It's hoodie season. It's a little bit cold. I got my jacket on. This ain't stuck in the middle, though, but I should get this custom made. I know AK got a jacket out there, but back to my guy, my guest. Yo, welcome, Mr. Dan Moijueh. Moijueh. Okay. How you been, man? What's going on?
Good, man. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful day. You know, it's been good. It's been chilling. How you, man?
I'm pretty good, man. I can't complain at all. You know, we in the pandemic. I just realized that today. I was like, damn, yo, we still outside, man, in a whole pandemic. But you know, we tried to make things happen, and you was able to join me.
Appreciate the invite, man.
No, for sure. So, you know, the reason why I brought you here was because, you know, you've been in the game for a while. You've been outside, you know. I've seen you around for, I would say, the last 10 years or so, and I felt like you wasn't really, you know what I'm saying, getting your respect or getting your due. So, to the people that don't know you, who is Dan Moijueh? Moijueh.
But my real name is Daniel Moijueh.
Okay.
From Sierra Leone, you know, Mende Creole.
Okay.
You know. But yeah, just an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, businessman. Okay. You know, trying to do good for the community, you know, for the culture, for my country.
Okay.
Serious.
Yeah, you mentioned, you know, you're an entrepreneur. You are the CEO of Moijueh Fine Jewelry and Diamonds.
Yep, Moijueh Fine Jewelry and Diamonds.
So, like, how'd you get into the jewelry business, and what made you want to get into it?
Well, I feel like the jewelry business came into me, or it just kind of fell on my lap. Mm-hmm. It all started during a 2-year vacation in Sierra Leone. I call it a vacation. It wasn't actually a vacation. I got sent back home because I was bad as shit.
I feel that.
But I was in Sierra Leone from 14 to about 16 and a half.
Right.
So while I was in Sierra Leone during the war, it's like about 2 weeks right after January 6th.
Okay. So 91.
99.
99. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So my dad sent me back to get my act together. Unfortunately, there was a war during the time.
Right.
So I was there for 2.5 years, and upon coming back to the States, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to sell diamonds the right way.
Right.
You know, and give a percentage back to communities affected by, you know, blood diamonds and illegal diamond mining and stuff like that. So that's how I kind of just fell into it and just kept on building it, you know, almost 20 years later, you know.
Okay.
Here we are.
You mentioned building diamonds, or diamond business the right way, because as Sierra Leone is ever really known for is that movie Blood Diamonds. You know, it tells the history of how diamonds were used to fund the war, that very war that we're talking about, a tragic, you know what I'm saying, casualty that our country experienced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shortly after independence, really, not too long.
Yeah.
So what do you do to kind of make sure you're doing that the right way? Because a lot of people, when they get into this business, it's a tricky business that you got to know how to navigate. Yeah. So kind of talk about your experience getting it off the ground and how you were able to maneuver through those waters.
You know, the first thing, you know, I had to think about is like how to sell the diamonds and how to study the diamond. You know, so one of the first thing I did, I was able to get my my diploma after I graduated from Bowie in 2009. That same year, I went to Florida and got my diploma from the American Institute of Diamond Cutting in rough diamond and sorting. So I got my diploma that pretty much what is this, I can tell what a diamond is going to be in a rough state.
Okay.
You know, so that's what, you know, I was certified in. And I just kind of study diamonds, study the culture, study the demographics, about diamonds and how to push it. So I got into it little by little.
Okay. What sorts of challenges did you face when you wanted to start that business? Because so now you've got your diploma, you've kind of got the idea that you wanted to put a diamond business together. What challenges did you face really putting it together to opening up a jewelry store?
There's a couple of challenges, but one of the main ones I can say was how to bring it here. Going through those loops from getting it from the actual mine to, figuring out the taxes, navigating through scammers and fake diamond dealers and, custom, then getting it cut, then selling it and getting the license, and it's like a whole process,
Like how long is that process? I mean, we want to know. Elaborate. Like, think about it. Like,
you gotta Department of Treasury, you need to be involved. You gotta report certain things. You gotta get a custom broker. You gotta get represented on the ground. Get your license, gold, diamond license, import export license. It's a intricate things you gotta do. And before you even do that, you gotta make sure that whoever you're dealing with on the ground has their license, right, so you won't get caught up. So just navigating through all that stuff was very challenging at the beginning, but once I got the hang of it, it became like second nature, and like, okay, but the hardest part was like setting up here, making sure I'm in compliance with certain laws here.
So, all right, in the diamond business, right? Africa's a dog-eat-dog world. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to have a business either here or there. So being either there and trying to operate a business here, or being here and trying to operate a business there, especially vice versa.
Yeah.
So how was it trying to build those relationships with people that you can trust, especially in a business with like pure natural diamonds?
Yeah. So when I was in Sierra Leone, for those 2 years, I was in Kenema. For half the time. I took something called Beke. You take the Beke? I took the Beke in Kenema.
Right.
So, I built a lot of friendships, and my uncle is there. I got family there, so they're kind of already in the diamond business there. So just supporting them and building that relationship, building that network. So that was very helpful, in me be able to get the right diamonds and be able to export it and navigate through the right channels and who's the right people to deal with. So for me going there, even though I went during a bad time, I still used that opportunity to be able to see something that's far beyond that I didn't even see 15, 20 years later, that I can still be doing business in Sierra Leone, at the same time helping the country. I started a diamond mine right about when I was like 19. I started investing in a diamond mine until I owned the diamond mine. So I had a diamond mine all the way up to the Ebola. And once the Ebola happened, it just got a little bit too risky. So I was like, well, let me just focus more in the state side. So that's when, I started to set up my digital footprint.
Okay. So you transitioned into getting the opportunity. So basically your family was in the diamond mining business.
Not direct family.
But
yeah.
You were able to mold that into your own business, and then were you sourcing the jewelry from that mining business, or like how was it working?
So, not my direct family, like you get uncle and auntie, these that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I saw they was doing it, and I'm like, okay, what you need help with?
Right.
But it wasn't like mom, dad, uncle. It was like, this is like uncle this in the diamond business. So I'm like, okay, cool. I trust them. But so I used to source the diamond straight from Sierra Leone, and I still do. Pre-pandemic, because the logistics. But source the diamond straight from Sierra Leone and bring it here, and cut and polish it and sell it.
Okay, so like so that's how you ended up selecting the different jewels that you would use for the jewelry. Like you would So you basically follow the process from raw diamond all the way to sold?
Yeah.
That is a long process, bro.
Like,
how long is that process?
I've touched every single piece of the jewelry business, from mining to import exporting to cutting and polishing. Now I'm opening a manufacturing components towards the end of the year. So that's the next thing we're working on right now.
Okay, man, that's an extenuous process. Like, what is a timetable of that process from start to finish? Including like export, shipping, exporting, paying the taxes.
About a month.
That's it.
A month or two, if you have the money, yeah. Because it's going to take you. Now, like let's say about 2 months. Let's say if you go to Sierra Leone, you have the money. It's going to take you 2 weeks to buy the diamonds. You gotta get them out. It's going to take another 2 weeks to cut and polish it. Then another a week or two to any miscellaneous things that are going to happen. But it's about a month and a half to 2 months. You can, fully from the ground, and that's if you have connections. That's with connection. If you don't have connections,
good luck.
Good luck on finding diamonds.
Good luck.
Good luck on finding diamonds in Sierra Leone. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
But it's because, like I said, I went there at 14.
Right.
I was in the country during Blood Diamond War.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. I flew into Sierra Leone with Ecomog from Guinea. And when I came into Sierra Leone, there was no planes going to Sierra Leone because right after January 6th. So I had to link up with the embassy in Sierra Leone to fly from Guinea into Sierra Leone.
A lot of people don't really understand what that war was really like. I know, some other countries that experienced war, I think around that time was maybe like Rwanda, the Congo, that type of area. And a lot, Sierra Leone has been through so much in a short amount of time.
Imagine you're in America.
Yeah.
I came here when I was 5 years old.
I'm here.
And I was living here my entire life.
Living your life and then go back to see that.
To that.
Yeah.
I done lived in the hood. I done lived in Jersey, the Grove. For those people that lived in Jersey, they know what the Grove is. From living in here to going to Sierra Leone, it's a whole different experience. As a kid, you're like, what? I'm actually here. So, but the good thing is I built a lot of relationship. I still, have, my mom is there. My brother is there, and I still go see them every year.
Right, that's what's up. So you talked about getting the diploma from Florida. What was the school? Florida
American Institute of Diamond Cutting.
American Institute of Diamond Cutting in Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
Right. So that gave you the opportunity to learn how to, spot a diamond, see its value and its worth.
The rough
diamond.
So that school teaches you the rough aspect of diamond, which if I'm in Sierra Leone, we're dealing with roughs. But there's other schools as far as GIA, DCA. There's many schools that teach you the cut and polish aspect of diamonds. The color, clarity, and that's after it's cut and polish, how to look at a diamond. So schools like Jamalical Institute of America or whatever, Diamond Council of America. There's different schools that you can go to that teaches you the cut and polish after the diamond has been cut and polished. But I wanted to know how to spot a diamond in its rough state, to know that it's real, and to see what it's going to come up to once you cut and polish. So that's what I went to school for.
Okay, so I got 2 follow-up questions to that. My first question is, one, for somebody that isn't involved at all with the mining business and wants to get involved, obviously, outside of connections, what is that initial investment like? Is there a monetary value to it? Is it more like a social value to it? Like, what is that initial investment looking like?
To do what?
To get into the money, to get into the diamond business or the mining business, or
which aspect? There's so many different aspects.
All right, so let's keep it simple, right? Let's take away the raw part of it. Okay. Let's simply getting into the jewelry part of it, like selling retail jewelry. What is that initial investment looking like to be able to have the what you're selling, the items?
So I'm actually working on a course that's going to teach people how to start e-commerce brand. The diamond business, unless you understand how to speak diamond talk and you went to school, it's going to be hard. But if you know how to talk diamonds and you know how to run an e-commerce business, you know, if you can sell water on e-commerce, you can sell anything. Right. It's just that I just know how to sell diamonds because I've been in it for that long. You know, so once you study, you know, how to talk about the 4 C's, fluorescence, different things about diamonds, and how to give the customer an experience that they're getting from somewhere else, that they're not getting, you know, like the experience that I'm giving my customers is different from what they're getting from Zales, what they're getting from Jared. You know what I'm saying? That's what diamond is all about, marketing. The same diamond you see at Tiffany's, you can see it at Costco's.
Damn, that's a fact.
But Tiffany's got Jay-Z and Beyonce
right
and a Basquiat and a $40 million Basquiat painting to show they're rich. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's all about the marketing and how you market. You know, how you're able to market your brand. That's pretty much what it is.
My follow-up question was like, what is the after take home on selling jewelry? Because you got to think people are spending hundreds to thousands of dollars on one item, you know. So what is the profit on that? What does it look like?
It really depends on the type of jewelry you're selling. Diamonds can be tricky, but there's something called the Rappaport, which is like the standard pricing of diamond. It comes out every month that each dealer looks at, and it tells you how much a price retail diamond is supposed to cost. It's called Rappaport. You know, started by Martin Rappaport, but that sheet gives you a breakdown of how much the diamond is going to cost. But it really all depends on your marketing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The same diamond, like that, like I said, the same Costco and analogy.
Give me an example. Like, yeah. let's talk.
Let's say Blue Nile. Blue Nile, I get the same diamond from Blue Nile, but it's all about the marketing. The more you can market and to tell people your diamond is worth more, and it's helping this community or it's helping X, you can add as much as you want to add to it. If you want to sell your diamonds for $100,000, higher than what's it cost, you can do it. But it just depends on
how you market.
You market it and let people know my diamond is helping the local diamond cutter, the local miner. You know, it's helping this community. You know, it's all about how you market. But
I never thought it was that simple. You know,
there's a lot that's going to it. You know, a piece of jewelry, you know, it's like buy low, sell high. I buy this chain for $100, put in my markup, I'm selling $300.
And that's actually what I wanted to ask you as well. Like, a lot of these sites now, like, I'm going to use Gold Shop as an example. I don't really know the name of most of these because I don't honestly trust them, so to speak. But with the jewelry on there, like, you know, sometimes they selling it at a reasonable price, and it has me double questioning, like, yo, is this really real? You know what I'm saying? Some people won't buy from the mall jewelry, middle of the mall jewelry, because they don't think them diamonds is real. But like you talking about basically marketing and promotion. So if I'm a consumer of that product, right? How do I know that diamond is real from those places or from those vendors?
You see, a lot of people come to us because not alone that we offer, you know, good quality diamonds, but there's a cause behind our diamond. In addition to that, we offer insurance, warranty, even sometimes lifetime warranty on our diamonds. So if somebody buy a diamond and say 5 years later I want to get an upgrade, you know, for my anniversary, bring in a diamond. You know, we'll test it, make sure it's the diamond that we sold you. Each diamond that we sell has a GIA report. It has a certificate and it's inscripted on the diamond. So if I sell you a diamond and you come back to me a year later or two, I can look on the girdle of the diamond and tell you this is the same number that I sold you. So if you try to switch it up, You know what I mean? So some of the diamonds you buy at these malls don't even have certificate that comes behind it. We have our certificate that comes on. We have warranty. We have customer service. You know, it's actually, so that's all of that adds the value to it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't get that at the mall. The mall might just, you know, you might go next month and that might be there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, all of that adds to the value of the diamond.
I want to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I know your only business isn't only, you know what I'm saying, being a diamond miner. You also was a party promoter at one time, and you're also an author. But before we get into the book,
Yeah.
I want to bring up your time as a promoter.
Yeah.
I saw in a recent post you bigged up Davucci. You know what I'm saying? We just had Claude on here the other day talking. You know, Claude DeMartian. We just had Claude on here the other day, man. And he had a lot to say. He definitely bigged up Davucci. I think you mentioned something about, you know, Davucci having, you know, meaning a lot to the game. Like, kind of elaborate on that. Like, you know, you had SNS for a while. I think you started it back in 2007, right? Mm-hmm. You were one of the first promoters to bring out WizKid, you know, DeVito, some other artists. The Banj was out, a few Nigerian artists. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, that's what was prominent. Yeah. Right. So kind of talk about what your relationship was like with Davucci and how you got into the promotion business in general. Mm-hmm.
So Davucci and I, we started around the same time, you know, and I'm really proud, you know, for what he's done, not just for Afrobeats, you know, and for the African community and diaspora, but specifically what he's done for the Francophonians. He's definitely putting the Francophonians on the map, you know, matching that same energy, you know, with the Anglophone artists. He's bringing, you know, top notch, you know, to font. What's the dude name?
You had Tufan. You had
what's that? Did you? Daju. Yeah, you know what he's doing. Like, that was a big show. You know, that was big for the culture and big for the community. You know, and lots of other artists that he's brung in. You know, because Africa as a whole, like we have so many different, you know, angles and parts. You know what I mean? Like, one promoter can't take care of everybody. You know what I mean? So when you see somebody else who's doing great stuff, big him up. You know what I mean? That's how I am. It was his birthday. You know, went out there and had a good time. So
yeah, shout out to you, Davucci. And then, like I mentioned earlier, SNS and events. You know, I think you. So, do you still consider yourself a promoter, so to speak, or I call them nightlife advocates? But you know, do you still partake in that lifestyle? I know you have a lot going on. Is that something that you're still very much interested in?
Of course, yeah, definitely. You know, I came in when Afrobeats first started to come into America. You know, for me, it was more about, you know, sharing what I've been hearing. You know, so, you know, going to Nigeria, you know, being in the studio with different African artists and seeing the process of WizKid doing his first album in Nigeria, you know, with Sam Cliff. I was there, you know what I mean? And working with Mastercraft before he was with Flavor. You know, like, you know, Mastercraft was I used to sleep on his couch back in, like, when he first started. You know what I mean? So the list goes on, you know. But, you know, I just saw an opportunity to share, you know, dope sounds from the other side. You know, I wanted to share here. So that's why one of our first shows was bringing One Day Cole. You know, we brought One Day Cole. The first person that bought One Day Cole, P Square. This is in America.
I know.
One Day Cole, P Square, WizKid, DeVito, Dr. Sid, Spesh, like a bunch of artists we brought, you know, for the first time here. You know, and I feel like, you know, it felt good because, you know, he was contributing to a bigger cause. You know, and you know, one thing that I really enjoyed was seeing, you know, how far Afrobeat has gone. You know, WizKid has the #1 song in the country.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I was like, wow, you know, so you really contributed in being awarded a pioneer in Afrobeats by the Nigerian Entertainment Awards. For me was a big, like, okay, you know, I think I've played my part, and I think they're trying to tell me to retire. So that's how I kind of like.
No, I get you.
Chill back a little bit.
The nightlife advocating aspect of it, you know, it definitely is a young man's game. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you're successful in it, you know, I encourage you to go on. At some point, people outgrow it and become bigger than what it is. It serves its purpose.
Yeah.
But to the nightlife advocators that's out there, you know, we definitely got a couch talk waiting for y'all. And,
yeah.
You know, we'll get back on the subject. You're also an author, right? So you have your book, The Adventures of JJ and Mr. Smith, right? The Magical Powers of Crystals and Gemstones. Mm-hmm. How did you come up with that? What made you want to write a book? Like, at that, a children's book, because it's actually a children's book. Yeah, so what made you want to write a children's book?
It was actually during a pandemic, and you know, I'm a business major. Mm-hmm. I have 2 master's degrees. That's business related. I got an MBA from Maryland, and my other master's is in supply chain management and acquisition from Maryland as well. So I help a lot of people with business. I've helped out so many people over there, but I kind of never done nothing for my daughter, like business-wise, and also not even just for the business side, but just do something with her. And I was like, okay, what should I do with her that we have in common? Gemstones, crystals. She loves gemstones and crystals. She put a gemstone in her nose at one point. I had to take her to the hospital to get it out.
That's crazy, man.
So I was like, you know what?
She might get a piercing later, man, with that same gemstone.
You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? You know, I'm going to write a book with her about crystals and gemstones. You know, the name, The Adventures of JJ and Mr. Smith. My mom maiden name is Smith.
Okay.
On the Creole side.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Smith is just me. You know, just my mom's maiden name. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how the name came about. And the magical powers of crystals and gemstones. You know, because we forget about, you know, the actual earth and what it produced.
Right.
And the meaning of what some of these crystals, you know, are for and what they do. You know, how they heal people, you know, the medical, physical powers of them. You know, we forget about the powers of amethyst and power of amber and aquamarine, you know. So I wanted to teach, you know, not just adults, but not just kids, but also adults. The adults that are buying this book for their kids, you know, because, you know, I wanted to teach the kids, you know, these crystals that you're holding, that you guys are running around, this is what it does. This is where it's from.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Amber,
I wish I knew.
Amber is from the tree sap. You know what I mean? That insects sometimes get stuck in amber. You know what I mean? Amethyst gives good energy. You know what I mean? Like different things, like what we all learn about, but just put it on a book, and you know, having something to relate that me and my daughter can relate to, that we can be like, we did this. You know, so she actually helped choose some of the stones to write about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, like, what was that creative process like working with her to create that book? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of insights did you have? Like, how did you all spend that time putting the book together? What came about through that process?
So we went to a library, and I told her, just pick any book you want. I'm gonna buy it. It was like a book fair. So she picked something about like Twilight and like, you know, that was the first book, but she also picked the book about crystals, you know, and I'm like, And every time she used to come to my jewelry stores, no, she picked the book about crystals, and she took the crystal that was in the book, and she took it and put it around my jewelry store.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's dope. So when we came up with the book, you know, I'm thinking like, okay, let's go to the Natural History Museum in the book, pick out crystals that you see in the natural history museums, because the Natural History Museum is all about natural history and about the gemstones. So we went there, we pick out different gemstones, and she takes them to my jewelry store and she put them around. Okay. So that's what pretty much the book about. But while we in the museum, I'm teaching her. Saying, this is what avyMU does. This is what Jay does. This is what Quartz does. And I'm teaching her, through illustrations and all that stuff. So that's how, it kind of came about.
For sure. You mentioned, your success with going to Bowie State. You know what I'm saying? You definitely pledged Omega Psi Phi, fraternity at Bowie State. You also got your master's from Maryland. As an immigrant, right? One thing I do on this podcast is definitely highlight my HBCU, which is also Bowie State. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I definitely BSU alum in the building.
Yeah.
What would you say to a first generation immigrant that's coming to America that wants to seek higher education? Having that experience with both a PWI and the HBCU, what type of advice would you give them? You know what I'm saying? Because I always advocate the HBCU route. I definitely went to a PWI. I went to UMBC before I went to Bowie State. You know what I'm saying? So it was two totally different experiences.
Yeah.
So I always say, Bowie gave me a lot more than anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what would you say to that first generation immigrant?
I would say, I love my PWIs. Like nothing, little sister went to Penn State, my other sister went to UMBC, my other sister went to Ohio, I went to Maryland for grad. I love it. No, nothing, not taking away nothing from PWI, but HBCUs, different experience.
Totally.
You get to learn so much history in this country. As being black in this country, you get to learn a lot about that. And you don't really, I'm not saying like you don't really get that full history at a PWI that you get from HBCU. So, and when you join a fraternity, you get even deeper history.
I already know. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So learning that history and learning where certain things came from, learning where certain cultures and certain traditions came from, I think is very important for an immigrant who's coming to a country, that's so broken, and to learn, this is why this is this. This is why, and you get to learn certain things. So, I would say learning history, learn, certain tradition and culture, and you get that fully at a HBCU. That's why.
For sure, because I always say, the HBCU is built for you. It's built for somebody that looks just like me, has the same skin tone. It's to my advantage. It's not to my disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? As those other institutions like UMBC, as great as a school as it is, proud to say it's an honors university. It ain't Bowie State. It is not Bowie State. You know what I'm saying? And I think people don't really value and understand what that educational experience is like at an HBCU for those that haven't had the opportunity to go. People only hear about the parties and the cookouts and the frat parties and this and that, but it's way more than that, So kind of talk about what other ways are you showing mentorship, as a Sierra Leonean, like you said, you pledged Omega Psi Phi, it's a lot about brotherhood and mentorship. How are you mentoring other Sierra Leoneans, not specifically people here, but Sierra Leoneans, either, domestically or abroad?
Okay. So we've set up several scholarships back home where we finance kids that's going to school there in Sierra Leone.
Right.
I actually helped set up a scholarship that happened this year with the Labor Department for students that want to come to America. I had helped set up an international. People want to come international to do their education. I put that together. Here, I've helped set up scholarships that my company is putting together for kids that wants to go to schools here, and intern with the company as well. We've had, several Sierra Leonean, and not even Sierra Leonean, but African and African American students intern for our company, and they learn specific skills and they put that on their resume, take it to another level.
Right.
You know, imagine coming straight out of college, you learning all this stuff that's way ahead of the game. You know, you learn all these different technologies and different ways of doing business. You know, so just hiring different interns, setting up different scholarships. You know, and I have a team of mentors, you know, that I work with. You know, kids that I work with, Sierra Leone African Americans that, you know, that I help, you know, in their own journey. So.
That's what's up, man. You know, like I said, man, I wanted to make sure I gave you your props. You're somebody I've seen in the community. You know, I see you almost everywhere. I've seen you during the SNS days. I was around when you started your, you know, the jewelry store. You know, and I wanted to make sure that when I seen you, I actually seen you at the Wiseman event. And I think. No, I think that's where I saw you, and I was like, gotta get him. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know, I gotta make sure that I highlighted you and showed all the good things that you was doing in the community. But man, it's been a pleasure, you know, to have you on the show. You know what I'm saying? To everybody that's out there, you know what I'm saying? This is the Couch Talk. I'm here with Dan. Moijueh. Excuse me.
So
you know
Moijueh is actually Moijueh. So it's a spin-off of my last name,
right?
But it actually, so moi,
moi,
M-O-I,
moi.
It means me.
Of course.
In French.
Of course.
J means I.
Okay.
So when you give somebody a Moijueh diamond, you're telling them what's missing is you. That's the why.
Yeah.
That's why the why is left like that.
Okay.
So it's I, me. It's me, I. What's missing is you.
Okay, I got it. It makes sense.
That's what Moijueh means. So.
Okay, Moijueh. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, we got Dan Moijueh in the building. Yo, I am your host, Sir Charles, a.k.a. Capo. Make sure you subscribe to All Things Stuck in the Middle, SitM Podcast. Yo, it's been a really dope conversation. You learned everything here about jewelry. Make sure you go and cop that book. Mr. Smith,
The Adventures of
J and Mr. Smith.
Yes,
Exactly.
.com.
Hey, go get that. Yo, this is your boy, Sir Charles, aka shout out to Achiri in the building, producing in the back. Shout out to Tutu. Shout out to AK Flex, Ma. We all see you in this. Peace. We out.